don't overthink it. It's just common sense. How many times have you heard that phrase? For a certain type of mind, it's not just advice. It's a dismissal, an intellectual shutdown. It's the feeling of presenting a carefully constructed, multi-layered argument, only to have it flattened by a two-dimensional platitude. This isn't just about being smart or being right. It's about a fundamental, frustrating disconnect in how people process reality. And it drives high IQ people crazy. Let's set the scene. You're in a meeting. You've spent a week analyzing data, modeling outcomes, and you've found a non-obvious but highly effective solution to a problem. You explain it clearly. The logic is sound. The evidence is compelling. Then, a colleague, let's call him Bob, leans back in his chair, squints and says, "I don't know. My gut tells me this is too complicated. Let's just stick to what we know." And the room nods. The energy shifts. Your complex, elegant solution is discarded for the warm, comfortable blanket of common sense. This is the core of the frustration. It's the experience of having your high-resolution thinking invalidated by a low-resolution heuristic. So, what exactly is common sense? Psychologically, it's not a form of deep wisdom. It's a heuristic pack. Heuristics are mental shortcuts, rules of thumb that allow us to make fast, good-enough judgments without much cognitive effort. Things like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, or trust your gut. They work well for simple, repetitive problems, but the modern world is rarely simple or repetitive. It's complex, interconnected, and non-linear. Applying common sense to a complex system is like trying to fix a computer with a hammer. The high IQ mind doesn't just see the hammer and the computer. It sees the motherboard, the code, the dependencies. This is the first cognitive trap. The curse of knowledge. Once you know something, it's almost impossible to remember what it was like not to know it. Your baseline for obvious has shifted permanently. You're trying to explain calculus to someone who is still struggling with the concept that letters can be numbers. It's not their fault. Or yours. The gap is just too wide. This leads to the second issue. A difference in cognitive resolution. Think of it like a digital image. Common sense operates at a low resolution. It sees the world in big, simple pixels. Good/bad. Right/wrong. Success/failure. A high-resolution mind, however, sees the millions of pixels in between. It sees nuance, context, trade-offs, and second-order effects. Let's take a common-sense statement. To lose weight, just eat less and move more. Low resolution? Absolutely. It's not wrong, but it's dangerously incomplete. The high-resolution view sees the rest of the iceberg. Metabolic adaptation, hormonal responses to different foods, the psychology of habit formation, genetic predispositions, the role of sleep and stress. The frustration is trying to explain the iceberg to someone who only wants to talk about the tip or consider finance. Common sense. A penny saved is a penny earned. High-resolution view. A penny saved is actually a penny losing value due to inflation unless it's invested in assets that outpace the consumer price index while accounting for risk tolerance and tax implications. One is a comforting jingle. The other is financial literacy. Try explaining that at a family dinner. So you're cursed, doomed to see a world of complexity others ignore and be constantly frustrated by it. Right? Number. Your high-resolution mind isn't a bug, it's a feature. You've just been using it without the proper user manual. The goal is not to force everyone to see in 4K. The goal is to become an expert translator. To bridge the gap without losing your sanity. Here's how. Step 1. Reframe your goal. Stop trying to be right. Start trying to be understood. Your ego wants to win the debate. Your intelligence should want to achieve the best outcome. This single shift changes everything. It moves you from an adversarial position to a collaborative one. Step 2. Use analogies and metaphors. Don't dump raw data. Nobody wants your spreadsheet. They want a story. Translate your complex concept into a simple analogy they already understand. Instead of explaining market volatility with standard deviations, talk about it like the weather. Sometimes it's sunny, sometimes there's a storm, but over the long term, the seasons change predictably. You need both an umbrella and sunscreen. This isn't dumbing it down, It's smartening it up by making it accessible. Step 3. Ask, don't tell, the Socratic method. People resist being told they are wrong, but they champion conclusions they feel they reached themselves. Instead of stating your conclusion, ask questions that guide them there. What do you think the risks are with the current approach? What if this one assumption we're making isn't true? What would that change? This invites collaboration instead of confrontation. It makes them a partner in discovery. Step 4. Pick your battles. Use strategic silence. Does every common sense fallacy need to be corrected? No. Your cognitive energy is a finite resource. Don't waste it on trivial debates. Ask yourself, is this important? Is there a significant negative consequence to this flawed thinking? If not, let it go. Sometimes saying nothing is the most intelligent move. And finally, step 5. Find your people. You cannot and should not have high-resolution conversations with everyone. It's exhausting. You need an intellectual sanctuary. Cultivate relationships with friends, mentors, or colleagues who operate on a similar wavelength. These are the people you don't have to translate for. This is where you recharge. In the end, the frustration with common sense is the loneliness of seeing a world that others don't. It's the burden of clarity, but it doesn't have to be a burden. By reframing your goal, translating your ideas, guiding with questions, conserving your energy, and finding your tribe, you can turn that frustration into a superpower. It's not about dimming your own light to match the room. It's about learning to be a lighthouse, to cast a clear, guiding beam that others, in their own time, can choose to navigate by.